Hello there, Dan the Weatherman here. Hey, welcome to my weather show. This is the global edition where we take a look at things going on around the world. There's been a lot going on and we're really seeing Mother Nature flex her muscles with the really active and volatile jet stream. And of course now getting into the seasons where we're punching on the doorsteps of perhaps summer into the northern hemisphere. And old man winter, he's really starting to go brrr, and really send some surges down south. But we start off looking at the big picture as far as temperatures go, where you see a surge of red and that sort of rusty brown color. Areas warmer than normal, where you see some blue, colder than normal. This is how we've been, and as we run through the week, you see a few spots that jump out. Cooler than normal, if you can believe it, across parts of the midsection of the US. Warm ahead of that. It's been very warm to parts of Europe, and in particular as well, central parts of Russia. We've seen some extreme heat there, and you see, of course, these surges of blue coming out. We've had quite a cold surge to New Zealand. There's going to be another one. Notice this one here. That's churning out of that Antarctica and working its way towards Australia. As the week goes on, they're going to get that cold surge. Look at this cold here across the far north, and the cold, how it lingers across parts of America, even though the heat is going on. And all the while, the heat really starts to build. So what is going on? This week, it's been a perfect example of the jet stream, that river wind high up in the atmosphere that's just been like a piece of wet spaghetti. Everywhere it bends, it allows the cold air to surge. And when it really picks up, when you've got cold and warm, you get a good zone of boom, push, and that's energy, and that's really what creates the weather. That little red zone there, that was one of the areas where we had the severe outbreak of severe storms across the upper Midwest. Follow that lump of red as it moves towards Europe. That's going to dive down and probably help bring some pretty nasty storms to parts of Central Europe over the course of the week. Look at all this stuff too, where you see some zones of red, one particular one there, put your eyes to those. There'll be some surges to work through. This guy here, watch how he tracks right across the North Atlantic, and then through the week, comes down like a roller coaster ride, picks up speed, and before you know it, you've got a pretty active storm system there over parts of Europe and some thunderstorms. This guy churning in, remember Australia? Look at that. That's a cold surge working through. And in between, there's lots of ups and downs, but this time of year, the jet stream, very unstable and very volatile with its warms and colds. To North America, first off, we've had some storms, more severe storms. There's the cold air, and you can just watch what happens. Look at this system working through, but we're getting some cold air. This is actually the remnants of cold air that has come down from way north in Canada. Actually, it's come from across the poles last week. Through the week, that cold goes away. Then we get some upper energy coming through, and look at these lumps. More severe storms. They've come racing across the northern Pacific, and then we get further surges of cold air. And speaking of the cold, there's all the warm. That's 90 to as much as 100 degrees where that white is, 40 degrees Celsius. Look at this area of green here. With the cold sitting in place, watch what happens, in particular Minnesota and parts of Wisconsin. See how they stay in that green? 40 to 50 degrees, barely 10 degrees, because the warm is here, but you've got the cold surging through. Then as a low wraps around, see how it stays green? What's going on? That system just lingers, and then eventually you do warm up here by the end of the week. So some real patchwork as far as temperatures go, but eventually much of the country and even into parts of Canada getting into that warmer color as you get into that southwest surge. Speaking of warm, plenty of warm as we head to the Indian subcontinent. This is a bit of a map. Ooh, I know. India sitting right there. This is an upper level map showing the heat in the middle layers of the atmosphere, and this big circle here, that's the Middle East, is the big mountain of warm air, the upper ridge that shows the pre-monsoonal heat, with the upper ridge which shifts north as we go through the course of the seasons. Jet stream there going away, but we've had some temperatures, some 40, 50 degrees over parts of India. We normally see it, but this bend in the jet stream here from Europe allowed this thing to pump up and build, and that created more heat, and with that as well. And then people are wondering, well, India monsoon, when's it starting? First signs of it down here in the Andaman Sea and towards parts of Sri Lanka. But looking at the satellite, still about a week to 10 days away. You can see India there. Notice the big storm clouds coming to life across the Andaman Sea. Not quite, but over the next week to 10 days. They should be about on schedule, knocking on the doorsteps of that southwestern coast of India, Kerala, with the first signs of the monsoon. Look at this, just bone dry, with that big mountain of warm air sitting there in place. Let's track our way further west, and we'll look at things then further along to parts of Europe. I mentioned that big diving system there. That was a system there that punched the jet stream down. They've had quiet weather further west across parts of Europe. That's all going to change. Watch what happens through the course of the week. You'll see the system dive its way in here. Parts of France, storms coming to light, boom, as the upper energy works in. The British Isles, that pushes through, and then you follow the storms through, and then another system here develops across the western parts of the Mediterranean, so it turns stormy, and then it quietens down by the end of the week as a new high comes in. And it really shows up well taking a look at the upper level chart. Big ridge of high pressure, the zone there, that's the quiet. Go into the middle part of the week, boom, diving down, and then the new high. That works in to set us into later parts of the week. And one more stop, we head down under. Australia, New Zealand, cold blast of winteriness there with snow to pretty low levels of parts of New Zealand and a pretty mean sou'wester. That is easing away. We run away through the week. High pressure slowly starts to build in. But old Mother Nature, she's not done with that dodgy fridge door with the old industrial freezer. There's another cold surge comes out of Antarctica. Look at this, the blue line. Cold surging, this time heading towards parts of Australia as we finish off the course of the week, and the cold surging in towards the south coast. So it's some real ups and downs for the weather, things quietening down, but still a lot to come over the course of this week. That's the weather for now.